the most perfect, easy one bowl of vegan vanilla cupcakes. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Britt and I am the vegan food blogger behind the Banana Diaries, and today we are making the best vegan vanilla cupcake recipe. I swear by this recipe. It is so freaking good. The cupcakes are so moist and perfect every time. You're just gonna love them. So let's get right into it. So for these one bowl of vanilla cupcakes, we're going to start by just whisking all the wet ingredients in your bowl. So we have 130 grams of a neutral oil. I'm using an avocado oil and we're just gonna dump that in there. You can also use vegan butter too. Sometimes that's really nice. I think that the buttery flavor really adds to the overall flavor of the vanilla cupcakes. I wouldn't recommend using coconut oil because it's too much of pure fat and your cupcake liners might stick to your cupcake. So that would not be good. And then we're gonna add in our sugar. So we have 1 cup of sugar, so that's 200 grams. I'm using Florida crystals. It's completely vegan and organic, which is great. Not all sugar is vegan. I've been over that before, but just fair warning. And then we're going to add in a tablespoon of vanilla extract. These are really, really vanilla-y cupcakes. My favorite cupcake was at Georgetown Cupcake when I worked there in college, and their vanilla cupcakes were at its real good. And the reason why is because they add in a ton of vanilla. And then because I think that vanilla bean seeds in cupcakes are really, really special, and that's also what Georgetown Cupcake did, I'm going to add in a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste as well. So there's tons of vanilla in these cupcakes. It's going to help with that really buttery flavor. And then you're also gonna see the specks of the vanilla bean seed in the cupcakes, and we're gonna also add that to our frosting as well, which is one of my favorite parts, is seeing the little specks of vanilla bean seeds in the frosting. We're not gonna add in our buttermilk right now. That's gonna add in with our flour mixture. So we're just going to whisk this right now till it's combined. And as you can see, there's also no vegan egg replacement in this mixture. It's just your oil, sugar, and vanilla. You actually don't need eggs in cupcakes in order to make them fluffy and rise perfectly. Which is kind of cool. So we're just gonna mix this. I also have batch vegan funfetti cupcake that's based off of this recipe. So easy, just yields 6 perfect little cupcakes. All right, and now we're gonna add in our dry ingredients. So we have 230 grams or 1 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. You can also use gluten-free flour. I recommend using King Arthur Measure for Measure gluten-free blend. That's the only blend that I really, really love to work with. The Bob's Red Mill I find is a little bit really too gritty, and you cannot just sub in coconut flour or almond flour. That won't work. So use a gluten-free flour blend that contains xanthan gum. And then we're gonna add in our baking powder, baking soda, and a pinch of sea salt. Add that right in there. And then I just like to kind of, because it's a one bowl recipe, I just like to move the baking powder around in the flour right before I start to mix. So now as I'm mixing this together, I'm going to pour in our room temperature 1 cup of homemade vegan buttermilk. And this is just almond milk or soy milk mixed with a little bit of apple cider vinegar. You can use oat milk. It's not gonna curdle, but it is possible. The whole purpose is just to add in the acid, and the acid is gonna react with the baking soda and then cause our cupcakes to rise. So because oat milk still has a little bit of fat in it too, I think that it adds a really lovely texture. So you're just going to whisk just until incorporated. We don't wanna over whisk. We don't need all of the clumps of our batter to be completely, you need basically the dry ingredients to be wet in the batter, if that makes sense. So they're integrated, but they're not completely smooth. So stopping the whisk just about here, that's good. Okay, awesome, all right. That looks like a perfect cupcake batter. And now we're going to fill our cupcake liners. That batter was so quick and easy to make. It's just been resting while we line our cupcake tins right now, totally fine. Oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And now we're going to fill our cupcakes. So I like to use an ice cream scoop. I think that it's just easier to fill our cupcakes with. And then you also get like an even amount of cupcake batter per cupcake. So 1 scoop, this is I think 3 tablespoons worth, but we're basically filling it 3/4 of the way up. You just scoop and you fill your cupcakes. And then as soon as we're done with that, we'll pop them into the oven and then we'll let them cool and we'll make our frosting. I can already smell the vanilla. It smells so good. It's such a silky batter too. I feel like the scoop also helps prevent any mess too on your cupcake tin. Although I say that, I'm probably going to make a mess with my cupcakes in a second here. It's knowing me, that is how it usually works. Oh, it's so silky. I love it. Our cupcakes are filled. They're ready to go into the oven. We're gonna bake these for about 18 to 22 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. You can also check them with the bounce back test, so just putting a finger on them, and if they spring back, then that means that they're ready. If they don't, then they still need more time. So let us bake them. Okay, so our vegan vanilla cupcakes are all cool and ready. They're fully baked, they're ready to be frosted, so let's make our simple vegan buttercream. So to make a buttercream, we're gonna need vegan butter, powdered sugar, vanilla extract, and vanilla bean paste. I like to add the vanilla bean paste in. It's not necessary, but if you want like that super cool bakery style with like the flecks of vanilla bean seeds in, highly recommend. So with the vegan butter, the key is to have room temperature vegan butter, which means that it's 65 degrees Fahrenheit. It should be easily indentable, but still cold to the touch. So it shouldn't be feeling greasy. It shouldn't be overly warm. You should still feel some pressure when you press into it. So to get room temperature butter, you're gonna want to let your butter sit out for about 1 to 2 hours prior to making the buttercream. So you can bring that out right as you're making the vanilla cupcakes, then let the cupcakes bake, cool, and then your butter should be ready to go. So we're gonna add this to our stand mixer. You can also use a hand mixer. And first off, we're just going to cream the vegan butter for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's lighter in color and fluffy. Make sure that we scrape down the sides of the butter as we fluff it, because we want all of the butter to be nice and aerated so that when we incorporate our powdered sugar, it's going to fluff up really nicely. And then just a little bit more. That is nice and fluffy, and now it is time to add in our powdered sugar. The thing with powdered sugar is that they use, well actually with a lot of sugars in the US, they use bone char to whiten it, and I think that that's really gross. So just make sure that you're using a vegan sugar. And we're just gonna dump this all into our mixture here. It's puffing up, I can like taste powdered sugar in the air. I'm breathing in powdered sugar right now. Hi Cosmo, I love you, I'll be there in a second, honey. Another key tip here, if you are new to vegan baking and making vegan frosting in general, sift your powdered sugar. So don't just dump it in like I just did, but I tend to know how to, I've made frosting so much that I know what to look for when it's going awry, and then I can fix it. So if you're new to vegan baking, just make sure that you sift your powdered sugar. It's just gonna save you some stress if you are making your frosting for the first time. So yeah, now we're gonna add in just a tablespoon of dairy-free milk to first help it along, and we can add in more later. And then I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And you can also add in a pinch of sea salt here too as well. I use salted vegan butter because I think it just tastes better. So I usually don't have to add in some extra salt, but if you want to, you can do that. Now that that's all added in, we're going to mix again. So start on low because you don't want the powdered sugar to puff up into your face, and then we will increase the speed. Let's begin. I just stand back to this. All right, now we're gonna stop and add in a little bit more dairy-free milk, and we're also gonna scrape down the sides. So first start by scraping down the sides. Oh, hello. Okay, then we're gonna add in some more dairy-free milk. You can use almond milk, soy milk, or any of your favorites. Make it allergy friendly if you need it. Scrape down the sides again. I do this a few times during the process because I think it just helps to really make a spreadable and fluffy frosting, and then everything is super integrated, which is what we want. We don't just want kind of dry and weird buttercream. We also want some flavor too, so we're gonna add in our vanilla bean paste now. just a teaspoon, not a tablespoon, teaspoon. All right, and we begin again. And that is our simple vegan buttercream. How easy was that? That's literally ready in just 5 minutes, you know? All right, so now we're going to remove the frosting from this whisk. And then we're gonna give the frosting a few stirs to knock out any air, and that just makes the frosting even more spreadable and nice and fluffy. So this guy, get out all that frosting because we want it for our cupcakes or cake or whatever you're frosting. And this is based on an American buttercream. I have a few other frosting variations that are all vegan that are on the blog, including a yummy peanut butter frosting, strawberry frosting, blueberry frosting, and of course a chocolate frosting. I also have a classic cream cheese frosting as well, so you should check that out. Now let us mix our frosting a little bit. Oh, whoopsies. Kitty. Okay, so we're just gonna mix this up just to knock out any extra air and make it super smooth. There you go. And now we're going to frost our cupcakes. So I'm just gonna fill a piping bag with some of the frosting. This makes it a little bit easier to fill our piping bag. You just place the piping bag in here and then put it on your cup, and then this way you can fill the piping bag with as much frosting as you need. Oh, I just lost a little bit, that's a bummer. Try not to overfill it too, because I want to be able to like squeeze the frosting. So if you have leftover frosting, just you can refill the bag afterwards. Now we're just going to pull up the sides, and we're going to squeeze the tip back down, and that is our frosting. Okay, so let's see if my old cupcake skills still work. Just gonna do, and then around. And there you have it, the most perfect vegan vanilla cupcakes. Didn't I tell you how easy that is? I mean, they're beautiful. You make them gluten-free, they're naturally dairy-free, there's no egg replacement. You're just gonna love them. They're perfect for birthday parties or any kind of get-together that you just need a good cupcake recipe that, you know, you wanna satisfy the vegans, you wanna satisfy the non-vegans. This is the recipe to do that. So you can find the full recipe linked down below in the description card. Just open up the little arrow and the link is right there for the full recipe. And be sure to give it a rating if you try it, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to be notified when more recipe videos like this pop up. And I will see you on our next baking adventure. Enjoy, bye.